Setahin Makuharasha of Somali. Today we're going to be talking about the Hobyo Sultanate. The Hobyo Sultanate was established in 1864. It was located between Somalia and eastern Ethiopia. The early rise of the Sultanate kingdom came from a conflict within the Majertine Sultanate after the fall of the mighty Aljuran Empire. The fall of the mighty Aljuran Empire saw many smaller Sultanate kingdoms popping up. Hobyo was founded as a coastal outpost by the Aljuran Empire in the 1200s. In the late 1600s, the Harab Emirate would revolt against the Aljuran Sultanate Empire. Yusuf Ali, ruler of the Harab Emirate, would be elected to be the Sultan of the Majertine, and this is where the problems would start. Yusuf would have goals to take over the Sultanate of Majertine to the north. He wanted to take the Sultanate from his cousin, Osman Muhammad. He would not complete this conquering and was exiled to the Middle East and Yemen. In the late 1800s, he would return with lieutenants and musketeers to conquer Majertine Sultanate. He would overpower the Habar clans and made the Hobyo. He would overpower the Habar clans and made the Hobyo Sultanate Kingdom in 1878. The Sultanate Kingdom had nobility, a flag, an army, and a centralized authority. With the Majertine Sultanate split up and the remaining Majertine Sultanate to the north, many politics were played in the area. Written transactions and activities still exist of what the sultanates were doing. In the late 1800s, many of the surrounding sultanates would try to take power from each other, as well as protect the territory that they had. Almost every sultan in the area would sign treaties with European powers like Italy or African powers like the Abyssinian of modern-day Ethiopia. Yusuf would enter a treaty with the Italians, and his rival to the north would enter a treaty with Italians as well. Yusuf would use Italy to help with his dispute with the Sultanate of Zanzibar to the south. He also planned to use Italy as a way to stray off the British and further tried to take over the rest of the Majertine Sultanate to the north. The Sultans would gain no interference from the Italians for signing and would receive guns and aid. They also received extra co-signing of Italy in diplomatic endeavors. This would only last so long, and the relationship between the Hobyo Sultan and Italy would take a turn for the worse. The Italians had agreed to let the British troops rest in the Sultanate on their way to fight the emir of the dervish forces. Sultan Yusuf would deny, which would show too much power to the Italians. The Italians would then exile Yusuf and his son Ali Yusuf. Once more, Yusuf would be exiled to Yemen and then to Eritrea in East Africa. The northern sultanates did not have the same deal that the Hobyo Sultanate did. They did not have the same amount of rule that the southern sultanate had. Once the Italians took over most of the Hobyo Sultanate, an Italian governor was put in place. Tribalizio would look over the Sultanate, but he soon got reports of armed men at the borders of the Sultanate kingdom. This was just at the time when Corpo Zaptiz was trying to further conquer the Sultanate to the north, the Majertine Sultanate. And soon, Omar Samatar would appear to take over El Bur in 1925. The local citizens would soon follow Omar, and Omar would then capture El Deir. Corpo Zaptiz would try to recapture El Bur, but he could not. The Italians would flee to Budbud while being ambushed and killed more and more over a distance. Lieutenant Splendorelli would be killed between Budbud and Bulla, which pushed Italy morale to its brink. Omar would grow very powerful, and Governor Di Vici would request 2 Italian battalions from Eritrea. Di Vici would take command, though Omar would continue to take more of the Sultanate back. Back in Rome, in Italy, the government policymakers were shocked at what was happening. Back in Rome, in Italy, the government policymakers were shocked at what was happening. They would blame Di Vici for losing and Omar for rising in the region. Di Vici was ordered to stay and administrate Mogadishu, while a battalion from Eritrea would be sent. The commander was now in control of the situation, leaving Di Vici very confused on what to do. He would take Sultan Yusuf to Mogadishu, while Mussolini stated he would conquer the Hobyo and Margentine Sultanate. The play from Mussolini was to reinstate Yusuf, but Omar had too many clans on his side by this time. Di Vici would use divide and conquer. He would offer power, money, and other rewards to get clans to side with Italy. This would work, with many clans warring between each other for a long time. This division would give the Eritrean battalion time to meet with the other Italian battalions. They would take back El Bur in 1925. Omar would retreat to Somaliland. This would be the downfall of the Hobyo Sultanate by 1926. Please like, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications so you get all my videos. Add me on all social medias, which is African Network. And until next time, peace, one love.